Yeah, no, it doesn't matter what
James,
you're
stop
doing.
playing Counter-Strike.
Someone joined.
Not allowed to have fun.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter
James,
what
stop
you're
playing
doing.
Counter-Strike.
Someone joined.
Not allowed to
You're
have
getting blind, Jake? You're getting blind, Jake?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the GRG channel. Hope you're all having a good time of things wherever you are in the world. Evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the GRG. You join us for the fourth round of the GRG TCR America Tour. This is the fourth and final leg of our TCR season that we've had throughout the entirety of the 2020 year. Currently 13 drivers in the server, but hopefully that should be a little bit more populated. We have a couple of minutes left in this practice session. But today we're going to have two 20-minute races. That second race with a reverse top 10 should keep things a little bit more exciting for that second race. 2 times on the board at the moment. Jake Fauscher on a 2:19.4, looking at about 2:16. 2:16.2 is possibly going to be our pole time today. We'll have to see what our drivers can pull out for us in about 15 minutes time, but we know we can go quicker than a 2:19. So these are just benchmark times. Drivers getting used to that track, and it's only a short practice session, only 10 minutes. The practice session, its only purpose is to get drivers into the lobby as such. You don't really do much practice at all, and as such, half the drivers aren't even on track at the moment. Let's have a look at Jake Felsher in the Hyundai, one of the newer additions to the TCR field. This is the Elantra version, the long-bodied saloon version, I guess you could call it. The 4-door compared to the i30, which is a bit more of a hot hatch, a much more squished and compact car. But just a minute left on the clock. There's a couple of people out on track. Not too many, but everyone's just going to be dialing their setups back in as they look towards those two 20-minute races. We can go through the championship standings. I'm just going to go have a look for them now. Here we go. And it is Salman Sold leading the way, one of our Cupra drivers, has 103 points. It is 25 points for a win, 20 for second, and 17 for third. Trickling down to 1 point for 15th, I believe. But pretty much meaning that if you do finish the race, you are going to get yourself a point. And finishing that race and not DNFing has been crucial for a number of our drivers so far already. Race 1 of Watkins Glen, so that was the third race of the season. Bin Abbas, their third place in the championship, not finishing that round, and that could have propelled them very close to Salman in the championship, just 22 points separating first to third. But it's really second all the way down to 6th, 7th, you could say, which are all very close in that championship fight. but a couple of newcomers here today as well, so they're going to get themselves on the board, and we'll hopefully get that a bit more populated. As the session ends, we move ourselves into qualifying. Again, short qualifying session, only 15 minutes. Doesn't give them a lot of time to really get that lap nailed down. With a 2-minute 15 lap around here, you're only going to get 3 opportunities, because as we know, straight away Jake Falsher going, that's not Jake Falsher, no, that's going to be, I think Keishan Hall there. Possibly. No, it might have been, no, it's Rennie Martinez. If we get the software up and running again once it gets itself calibrated with who's who. Rene blocking that Renault Megane there straight off the bat, not want to lose any track position. And to finish off the point that I was about to start, we know that in RaceRoom, when the time hits 0, the session ends, just like you saw in practice there. The session just finishes. You don't get the chance to finish the lap like you see in every other game and real life motorsports, obviously. And Rene relinquishing that track position to the Renault being Roman Barthez from Argentina. There, I think, also possibly a newcomer to the series. Trying to see him on the driver standings, and I cannot see him, so yeah, new driver to the championship, which is good to see. 15 cars then we've got on the server, which is good to see, and I think because we're on a private server we can get a few more during qualifying. I think that is allowed due to being on private server, so hopefully we can get that. But 15 still a good number. That will make that second race quite spicy, especially when you've got the top 3 or 4 drivers right in the middle of the pack. So as that clock hits down, we're going to get our first few drivers ending their out lap. Of course, 2 minutes 15 is quite a long lap around here. And then TCR cars, which are quick, but they're not, they're not the quickest. They do lack the straight line speed, which is if you've seen in the Michelin Pilot Challenge over in America, when you pitch the TCRs against the GT4s. Although there is some overlap between the quickest TCRs and the slowest GT4s. Those GT4s are a lot quicker in a straight line. That's where they gain their time over the TCRs. And on the track such as this, which is, well, a lot of it is completely full throttle. That might be an invalidated lap there for Rennie Martinez on that final corner, which may invalidate this lap that he's about to start. So that could be one wasted lap, and of course they're going to be fueled up for about 10 minutes, but you're also thinking about tyre wear. That first 5 or so % of tyre is much more grippier as you get rid of the first layer of rubber. It's a lot more grippier than the rest of the tyre before that tyre fades into its sort of long life performance. If you've ever been on R Factor 2, you'll know this very well, that the first few laps of a tyre performance is substantially better than the actual tyre performance, as you get that first layer of rubber down and off the tyre. It then blends into the actual race tyre, which is a bit more of a durable compound and isn't so susceptible to the heat. Of course, we're going to see purple sectors on every single driver until one lap is completed. Then the game and the server knows what to place as a purple sector. So even if we look at Roman, we're going to see a purple sector. If we have a look at Ethan Lawrence, we're going to see a purple sector. There, a 41.1 there, so a little slow for Ethan compared to Rennie Martinez. About 4 attempts lost in the first sector, but this is everyone's first lap. We're going to have about 3 attempts here. Everyone's first lap is just going to be that banker lap. Get your lap on the board. Your second and thirds are going to be the ones where you're going to be pushing, of course. Look through the field then. Let's have a look at our solitary British driver, Keith Hurst, in the Douglas Dongs Racing Cupra. Keith Hurst currently set P5 in the championship. 1 win, 1 second, 1 third to his name, 1 non-classified finish. That was in the first race of the season at Daytona. And then Mid-Ohio, the last round we've been to, only collected 12 points from both races there, which is really not what Keith wants to be doing when He's won a race, he's come second in a race, and come third in a race. So we know that this Cupra does have pace here, the 79. Currently on 74 points. 7 points adrift off both Bin Abbas and Victor Paz, third and fourth on the same amount of points. And Bin Abbas, the only driver to take 2 wins so far, and everyone in the top 5 having taken 1 win, of which 6 were available. 2 of those also go to Bin Abbas, who I believe is not here today. No, he is not, so that won't be good for his title fight. 81 points, is 5 points away from Keishan Hall in second place. Of course, Somersault running away at the moment. He's got a healthy lead on 103 points at the moment, and he would have been one of those drivers that could have taken points away from our championship leader, who's not here, which is going to be music to someone's ears. There's one less person to deal with, and when you lose 2 races worth of points, then there's a maximum of 50 points possibly being lost there. It's going to really hinder your progress, and we don't have a lot of races in this championship. We have 8 circuits, 16 races. So if you're missing 2 of those, you're missing 1/8 of the points available, and that's something you can't afford to lose. We've got our first batch of times on the board, our first 8. You can see there those Keishan Hall and down, I would say, are more are not representative laps. They're cautious laps. They are just getting a lap on the board. Keishan Hall may have just made a mistake on one of his laps, being the second off, and you see there 2:16.9, which is what I was looking at the 2:16s. I did say a 2:16.2, which I can believe we can go to and see Keith Hurst here, purple in sector 1 and 2. Although sector 1 is very, very tight. A little bit wide there for calendar corner. Going to get distracted by the Hyundai. The Hyundai, that's a Honda. Thankfully that car backs out. I think that's Romero Perez just getting out of the way. It does have one more car behind, and I think gets out of the way just about. Makes it a little bit difficult for that car on the inside, just compromising them a little. Stays within track limits nicely, and up the hill we go. 2 minutes 45, so Keith will get another chance at this. Those purples have disappeared. Someone out there is on a quick lap, and there's a 16.1 there from Sile. That's what we're looking at. Keith jumps to 3rd place, so that's 16.1, already beating my 16.2 prediction from about 5 minutes ago. And the gauntlet has been set. 8 tenths ahead of anyone else. That is a very healthy margin to have already. Rene Martinez, a driver that was looking strong in practice. See how he's doing going down into turn 4, 5, turn 3. I don't
know. Someone died.
And that's me accidentally unmuting myself. That's the wrong button pushed. And someone did die somewhere, thanks to the call from Ethan Lawrence. Wasn't wrong. Wasn't quite sure who though. I'll have a look at anyone else that possibly is towards the end of their laps here. It's tricky to tell without the track map, because when I push it, the screen just sort of flickers and nothing happens. Coming down into the final sector. It's not been the best lap here for Rene Martinez. We know this is someone who does have pace in the TCR category. Rene currently 6th in the championship. Yet to step on the podium, but has had some consistent results there. And that's kept him basically the top of the midfield fight. He's on 50 points, and there's a plethora of cars from 50 down to about 33. We've got 6 or so cars there which are basically jostling for position as we are coming up to the midway point of the championship. There's going to be a lot of pride to be won and lost, and that's basically what that midfield fight is for. Is that they may not or they may have missed a round or two. They know they're not going to be in the championship fight come 2 or 3 rounds, so they're just trying to get the best of what they can. As the session comes to a close with 10 more seconds on the board, Salman Saad then, who will take pole position ahead of our only Malaysian driver. Yeah, there we go, Aman Aqim. They're bringing that gap down to half a second, so it did improve, but still half a second is a big gap to find to our championship leader. The Esport Racing Argentinian driver Roman Barthez, they're 7 tenths away, and Keishan Hall, the 4th and final driver, within 1 second of Salman Saad. As we move into this warm-up now, and of course it's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes for just the drivers to do anything that they want. We're going to move to a couple of quick messages from our sponsors. The first message you'll see is from our charity partner. A couple of weeks ago, we hosted our 3rd annual, along with DSRT, our 3rd annual charity event, of which we raised 420 euros for. And I'm just going to play a quick little video from those guys.
Being forced to leave a military career filled with purpose and pride can be challenging. Motorsports offers an opportunity to regain that sense of identity within a safe, fast-paced team environment, providing a renewed sense of purpose. Operation Motorsport believes in the power of team, identity, and purpose.
What's up, guys? This is Rob. Probably know me a little bit better as TypeShrift than Rob, but today we're going to be taking a little bit of a deeper look into kind of the behind the scenes of TypeShrift and go over some of the very incredible stuff that we have coming up. What's up, guys? This is Rob. Probably know me a little bit better as TypeShrift than Rob, but today we're going to be taking a little bit of a deeper look into kind of the behind the scenes of TypeShrift and go over some of the very incredible stuff that we have coming up very shortly. So about 2 years ago, I was a senior in college and I had the idea for TypeShrift in between 2 classes. Since then, I think we have created one of the better communities out there as far as this stuff goes. You guys have been literally the lifeblood that keeps this stuff rolling, and with that, we have brought some pretty special items here to bring forth to you guys. As a car guy and as a collector myself, there's a lot of shared commonality between you and I. I've met people internationally and here in the United States that share the exact same passion that I have with this stuff. Most of the things that are available on TypeShrift are either forgotten about or just kind of lost through time, and now they're getting a second look on life, bringing back into the homes of enthusiasts, homes of collectors, garage art that starts up a conversation. Everybody's got a connection to all this stuff, one way or another. If I tried to make a pass at it, now you're not too good for me. With the recent collection, we're scaling up a little bit from the traditional 8.5 by 11 single frame and dual frame pieces. A lot of these are going to be bigger format, more substantial pieces of history for the TypeShrift collector. On top of framed vintage pieces, we've got a lot more wearable items, and these are incredibly special. These are not for sale anywhere else other than TypeShrift, and if they are, they're not nearly in this good of shape. These are official Camel GT 75th anniversary t-shirts. Some real deal, usable and wearable vintage motorsport nostalgia. Perfect condition, No pit stains, no oil stains, no rips, no tears like you've traditionally seen. Tons of camel stuff, tons of vintage t-shirts from all sorts of race events throughout the 80s. Some of the coolest stuff that's been available on the TypeShift storefront. For the 90s DTM fans, for the Camel GT fans, anything with box fenders, huge wings, and incredibly wide magnesium BBSs, you guys are all in for a treat.
And welcome back, everybody. It's a perfect time as the warm-up is about to finish, and we'll move on to race 1 of 2 for the evening. And yeah, just to recap those 2 videos you just saw there, the first one, Operation Motorsport, an American charity there, of which we raised 420 euros for just a couple of weeks ago in a 3-hour endurance partnered with the DSRT, the Dutch sim racing team. That group providing us a steady foundation, of which it was our 3rd year, providing a charity race, 3rd different charity as well. Each year just something different, so we can cover, you know, there's a lot of charities out there, and keeping them motorsport focused as well. And of course the second one, their Type Swift, I don't really know how to say his name, to be honest, but finding a lot of collectibles, a lot of memorabilia. He does a lot of hunting to find some really unique pieces, and of course, you know, brushes them up and adds some own personal touches to them to make them some pretty unique pieces of kit. And of course, you can use the code GRG10 for 10% off at his store. But the lights are about to go. It's a 15-minute race. Apologies for that. I thought they were 20, but 15 minutes. It's a drive-through penalty immediately for Romeo Perez, who's got a jump start. It's the poor start there from Simon Sauls. We get those, get the infographics right, hopefully. Give it a minute, and there we go. And it's going to be the Audi trying to pull to the outside into turn 1. It's going to do so. It's a bit of a slide though, overcooked it into turn 1. Someone's going to hold on to his lead for now, and it's Barthez that slips through into second in the black Renault. The 22 then Cupra's got a clear run down to turn 2, 3 and 4. He won't have to worry for the moment. You see in the background there, that's where the squabble is. It's Rennie Martinez there in the Audi. The DHL won a slowdown penalty as well for Romeo Perez. It's not been a good start for the Argentinian there, 15th and last. You can see him right in the background, falling further and further away as we go down into turn number 4 now. And a bit of a dive there from the number 9, a bit of contact there. That's a spin there. I think it's for Ethan Lawrence. Yes, it is. He got contact there with one of the Cupras. That would have been Ignacio de Leon. Indeed, it was there. So a little bit of contact on the opening lap, but hopefully not too much damage. And, well, Romeo Perez back up to 12, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that one. As these two get themselves underway once again, back up to speed we are. Battle for 5th, 6th and 7th here, where you could really extend that all the way to the lead, because Simon Sauls hasn't been given the chance to break away yet. It's just 4 tenths between the top 2 at the moment. And the slipstream, of course, ever powerful, but that Cupra quick in the straight line. Slowdown penalty for one of the drivers there. It comes up and flashes his way very quickly. I wish you could extend how long that was there for. Unfortunately, you can't. Yeah, the Renault just staying in touch there, and it looks like the Cupra is a little bit quicker than the Renault in the straight line. So, Roman Barthez is going to have to use that slipstream to his advantage. It's going to be hard to attack when you've got 2 Audis right behind, Akeem and Keishan Hall. Keishan Hall second in the championship, and he needs to get as high up as he can. Somersault, they're going to pull multiple points on him if he can't capitalize on these 2 positions ahead of him as they go up the hill. Keyfirst there in 5th, just keeping tabs on the top 4 then. Someone looking like he's had to defend just momentarily there, but pulls back to the racing line. You see the fighting is really where it is behind Honda. There's 3 Hondas here. Which one's going to come out ahead? It's Oscar Zayas ahead of Christian Castro, ahead of Victor Paz. Romeo Perez there in the background, and yet another Honda. So for the South Americans, the Honda is the car of choice. We've got a Chilean, Argentinian, and a Puerto Rican driver in the mix. So clearly South American car of choice, and possibly a look to the inside for Victor Paz. Indeed, he goes for it. And even though they've got the same livery, over and under, overshoots it, does Victor Paz. Castro goes back through for 8th place, both of them running the 86. Fortunately, not a lot of variation, as this is from the official WTCR grid. I mean, you can only take what liveries were used in real life, so a penalty for Victor Paz, and a bit of a wiggle there in frustration. He's going to have to look to defend from behind. That's Rene Martinez in the DHL Audi. To make way through the carousel, the long right-hander, that front left will be crying in about 11 minutes time, begging for mercy. Salman Salbridge in that gap to 8 tenths now. It's got a comfortable lead at the moment. You can see this 6-way train then that's about to form. A bit on the grass there for the second Honda. Rene Martinez now comfortably up in the slipstream. Victor Paz feeling the need to defend there, and the other car feeling the need to attack there. Late lunge, and there has been contact there into Canada corner between Zayas and the Castro. Castro falling back then to 10th place, and around the outside will go Rene Martinez. Can the other Cupra, or the white Cupra there, follow? Tried but unable to do so. Romero Perez now in the back of the Cupra, the Indonesian driver, and now pulling to the pits. And this will be the drive-through penalty then from Romero Perez, of course, for jumping the start. That will put him 15th and last, and pretty much without any incidents for anyone else up there, without any chance of getting any higher than 15th today in the first race. That means he'll start 15th for the second race as well. Of course, only a top 10 reversal, and that is not gonna be good for him. Looking to the front now, and the front two starting to break away from the rest of the pack. Keishan Hall now up to third. Good news for him in the Audi. We know he has a pace, second in the championship. He is a race winner, as is Sold, as is Akeem, I believe. Yes, he is. Oh, okay. Akeem is here today. I just read the name wrong. My apologies. So third in the championship is indeed here. Scratch what I said earlier. He's the only double race winner, and he's second currently on the road, third in championship on 81 points, compared to Samsal's 103. It's 25 points for a race win. Of course, that means a 50 up for grabs today. And the leading Audi, keeping that leading car, the leading Cupra, under pressure to move once again into Canada corner. These two are going to be keeping themselves earnest for the majority of this race. I can assure you, Rene Martinez spying 8th position. Going to look to the inside, thinks about it. The Cupra thinks about it. Bit of contact there, bit of lag there. Seems like the Honda got away with it just about, but Rene will use that opportunity to get his way through the slightly pushed out wide Honda. Opportunistic move there through no fault of his own, and of course the Honda going to be a little bit upset with that one, and frustration goes wide for the final corner. Moving back up the field again, Keishan, who only recently just got third place, defending into turn 1 from Roman Barthez. Just 7 3/4 minutes left on the clock, up to half race distance already. These short 15-minute races don't give you a lot of opportunity to plan and think. You know, you don't have a 1-hour stint here to understand your car and try and get the time where you can. Time you spent behind, and that's heavily defensive from Keishan, but he's going to leave the gap there on the inside, and Roman will go through. Will he outbrake himself? Yes, he will. Plows straight on through a turn 4 into the gravel trap, and what could have been a very tidy move there for third place unfortunately drops him down to 5th, and Keith Hurst will then retake 4th place. Romero Perez gets another slowdown penalty there. 10 seconds off the back of 14th, and as I said, he is not going to get any higher than the 15th then, with a slowdown penalty to boot. It's going to make his life a little bit harder. Checking in a little further down the field. Got De Leon here, the Argentinian. No, not the Argentinian. That is not. It's the Uruguay flag. I do know my flags on this. But the Cupra, the 96 here, chasing down the Cupra ahead of him. That 79, the one with the question mark on the side, on that rear quarter panel. We saw mid contact with one of the Hondas coming into this following right-hander. We saw a lap ago. Potentially damage on that car. Probably minor and not too much performance affecting, but could become a three-way fight here for 11th, 12th and 13th. And wide goes that Cupra. This could be Ignacio's golden opportunity here to try and get 12th away from him. Slowdown penalty for the car ahead. Again, that's going to bring him a little bit closer to the Cupra behind. Two different Cupras here. This is the older body style here that we're running with right now, and the one up front is the newer body. You can tell by the front air intake. The new one is much wider compared to the old version. Has a much narrower, much shorter front air intake. Also, the body shell is a lot boxier on the new one, whereas this is much more slimmed down, and the wheel arches are not as flared. Sits a bit higher. You can see the new one seems to squat down a little bit more than the older version. Back to the front of the field, and the gap is as close as it was at the start now. Just a handful of meters between the two. Couple of tenths of a second. 4.5 minutes on the clock. We're going to have 2 laps to go at the end of this. That rear end coming a little bit loose on the Audi. Even though we've only done 10 minutes of racing, due to the nature of the drivers and the fact that they're pushing, because it is only a 15-minute race, they do push the tyres a bit harder than what you would a 30-minute race. And of course the TCR tyres, or the tyre model for the TCRs, are modelled to replicate a 20 to 25-minute race, as you would see in the World Touring Car Championship. So they're not meant to be endurance tyres like you might see in other series, maybe the Hankook series or the Pilot Challenge series. You know, the tyres in there are more endurance, designed to go over an hour. These are not really designed to go over half an hour. So although they're pushing, still have to be wary of those tyre wear limits, especially that front left, as we know. Up the hill in the slipstream, that gap coming down and down and down. Let's have a look at it. You can see the speed difference as well, just a couple extra kilometers for the Audi, but even with the slipstream, that Cupra is quick in a straight line, and that is obviously crucial around a circuit like this. As we dip down then into turn number 2. 3 minutes left on the clock. We'll have one more after this. And although the first race is all about the flat out pace, that second race a lot more about strategy. It's going to be interesting to see where Salman Saad and Akeem going to be starting if it were to finish like this, 10th and 9th respectively in race 2 of that top 10 reversal. How are they going to fare in the middle of the pack? Now it's Jake Falsher getting himself a slowdown penalty, 3.5 seconds back off Victor Paz, but a couple of seconds, a second and a half ahead of Rene Martinez, so he's a little bit safe there. I'm sure that slowdown penalty wouldn't have cost him all too much. 4 tenths just comes up a couple of tenths more compared to the last lap. That looks a little bit deep there, and that gap's going to increase. Or maybe not. Seems to evened itself out just a little bit there, but it looked like the number 15 went a bit deep into that left-hander at 90 degrees left. Castro, the latest driver to gather himself a slowdown penalty. Ethan Lawrence in 10th there, another one of the Honda drivers. You see how many Hondas there are. They're everywhere. But they're not the quickest cars, it seems. It's the Audis and the Cupras you want to be in. The top 4 exclusively, those 2 cars, with a solitary Audi, Renault in 5th place. Then come the rest. Jake Falsher also flying the flag solo for the Hyundai Merchants. I'm sure Derek McCord will be very happy for Jake there, flying that Hyundai flag. Again, just a couple of attempts, the gap between first and second as we come up the rise for the penultimate time to cross the line for the final time, I guess, to count, as the next time will be at the checkered flag. One more lap to go then around Road America. That gap coming down and down, down. Closer and closer in the slipstream. Will there be a move to the inside? Not currently. Turn number 4 is going to be likely the best opportunity, if not down into Canada corner will be the only other opportunity for the number 15, unless someone makes a very rare mistake. A little bit up on the curb then, now moving and weaving to try and break the toe, as he's entitled to do. He's made that one move, brought it back nice and sensibly to the right hand side. He'll then stay there, possibly defend into the left hander. In fact, he does indeed. I don't think he needed to. He had a bit of a gap, but will do so anyway. This might cost him a tenth or two, and it could be a chance for the Audi just to get back onto the bumper, which he does. Back up the hill we go again into the blind left hander, both of them finding the apex and using that runoff. The Audi a little bit more than the Cupra. Again, down the hill as we drop that elevation we gained going up the hill on the start finish straight. Coming into the final few crucial corners, the corners where you can actually gain or lose a lot of time, and here's going to be one of them, the carousel. What lines are we going to be taking through here? Both of them seem to be sticking to something similar. The Audi taking a tighter entry, a bit wider on exit though. The Cupra doing the opposite, but the slipstream now going to be crucial down to Canada corner. This is the Audi's only chance. Akeem, what will he do? It's 3 tenths though. It seems to be a little too much coming down into Canada corner. Will there be a lunge, a late braking attempt? Surely there must be. Indeed there is. He's going to look for it. He sends it. There's contact between the two. The Audi does come off worse, and Simon Styles is going to be comfortably to victory there. Bit of a send there, a half measured look. Someone gave the gap there, but there was too many meters there to really find under braking there for Akeem to really make that move stick, and as such they will come across the line as they started. Simon Sol then will win race 1 here and will start 10th for the second race, and Akeem second, then only just Keishan Hall third, Keith Hurst will come 4th, Barthez 5th, Victor Paz in 6th, and there might be a little bit of a drag for 7th and 8th. Jake Falsher climbing up the hill, but will stay in 8th place for that Hyundai. Ethan Lawrence in 10th. Actually, Ethan Lawrence in 10th. They've only just Christian Castro, and there's a wheel and a bonnet, and the Hyundai is no more. We wait for those drivers all to come across the line. The final one being Romero Perez, and that is your top 15. We will reverse your top 10, so Ethan Lawrence will start on pole for race 2 with Christian Castro in 2nd, Jake Falsher 3rd, and the rest as followed up to 1st for Simon Stiles. Your fastest lap there went to the Audi in the end, so there's pace for both of those cars, your 1st and 2nd finishes. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare in the reverse top 10. Penalties though for Pastra and Zayas. So Perez actually gets 13th after I very much confirmed that he would not get anywhere other than 15th after that drive-through. Does eventually get himself into 13th place and a couple extra points for him. Now, as we move on to the second race, it may or may not kick me out. We will have to wait and see. Just see what it's going to do, if anything. But oh, it did kick me out, so we will just throw ourselves to that. Whilst we're waiting, we'll get ourselves a Derek McCall if Derek is around. Let's wait and see. I think he is, indeed he is. And Derek McCall, GRG founder, commissioner, all heads of GRG. Unfortunately not racing with us today, as he is a keen connoisseur of the TCRs, but he is with us in the booth. Derek, how you doing?
Good. Fortunately, I had some work commitments to attend to. But yeah, pretty disappointed not be able to race tonight. But glad to see you broadcasting again for us and enjoying the broadcast.
It's been a while since I've done one of these. Obviously, with my own work commitments now, it makes it a little bit difficult, but it's been fun. Good 15 cars on the grid and good battle for first and second, which we would like to see. Some of us who won, I think he might have won the last 2 TCR championships. So someone needs to put an end to that, quite frankly.
Yeah, when we started the series beginning of the year, we only had, I believe, 4 cars for the first race. So we've grown quite a bit. And what's been interesting is we've grown globally. We have drivers from Asia now, quite a few drivers from South America, Central America, North America. It's been I've been very happy for how big this series is growing. I always say it's the best TCR series that nobody knows about, but it seems like some of the messages are getting out, and hopefully we can grow even bigger for 2023. We tried something different to start the year. We kind of did regional championships, regional and quarterly championships. The American one has been the most successful, but next year we're going to maybe change it up a little bit and just have quarterly championships with pulling tracks from throughout the RaceRoom library. So it's not going to just be a regional championship. It's going to be spread throughout all the circuits throughout all the year.
Yeah, and hopefully that will drum up some more interest. And as you say, it is a worldwide championship now. We've got Keith, who's the sole British driver, who's been with us for years and years now, and continually stays up, as I am right now. It's 1 a.m. and he's dedicated to his TCR. Salman from Saudi Arabia, as you say, the South and North Americans, and Asia as well, which is we're seemingly seeming to get some more Asian drivers over here. We've got Malaysian driver with us tonight, so obviously Akeem, and yeah, it's seemingly growing and growing. And as you saw in that race there, the first race there, the driving, we like to do TCRs how we see in the real world. If you've watched any touring car championship, whether that's regional or the FIA World Touring Cars or British touring cars, they like to touch each other, get a little bit close, and although we might have seen a bit too much personal contact there on the first lap, we do like to get our cars nice and close, and we're not afraid to say that a little bit of rubbing is okay as long as it doesn't get too much.
Sorry, Titinian there says it's the TCR way.
It's the TCR way.
As a teenager, we didn't have live coverage of British touring cars. The British BTCC Championship. There was a channel named Speed Vision that would show the BTCC and the Supercars Championship during the winter months. Obviously taped delayed by months, but that's how I learned to love touring cars, was watching that, and of course getting the Toka games in America was pretty awesome too. So I've always loved touring cars. I love the TCR format. I think it's great. With our series, we try to mix up the circuits with, not only a circuit like here, like North America, where the long sedan body cars, can stretch their legs a bit, but we also try to do a shorter, compact circuits as well, where the hatchbacks can really shine with their agility. Such as next year we'll be using the Silverstone National Circuit, which is used by the BTCC Championship. A lot smaller of a circuit than the Grand Prix F1 circuit, but great racing nonetheless. Branch Hatch Indy's another great small British circuit where BTCC races at as well. So I'm really looking forward to what we can do with this series and how we can bring it to the bigger masses. The racing here is great, regardless of any driver who we've picked up, such as Akeem himself, who is an esports driver from Malaysia that has raced in the Malaysian TCR series. Um, yeah, the value is great with our series. You're going to get good racing. Um, Oscar Zayas, a driver who started with us, who didn't even know how to do launch control, is now very aggressive and a great driver in the series, and is one who will be here every round he can. So looks like we're done with the warm up, so I will leave it back up to you.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks
it
very
tonight.
much, Derek, and yeah, hopefully we'll see Derek back on track in his white wheels Hyundai as we always see him in. Thank you very much, Derek. And yeah, as you say, for GRG it's been an interesting time. Our grids sometimes not guaranteed. We've gone from sort of 4 or 5 cars to 8 cars to 15 to 25 cars, to 30 cars, to packed out grids. So it is interesting. We are just dialing that format in. I do believe that someone didn't change the server settings, and someone started on pole for race 2. I've got it very, very wrong. Someone's going to get a slap later, but we'll have to wait and see. But race 2 underway, another 15 minutes, and someone started leading away with a much better start this time, not under pressure from second or third. I say that, there's contact there between second and third this time around, as Keith Hurst takes avoiding action to the left-hand side. That's going to drop Keishan Hall behind some of the Hondas there. We're going to have a look at what's going on back there. Renny Martinez up to 5th position. A couple of people running wide and getting themselves slowdown penalties. You can see they're fanning out there at the back and then back into the slipstream. Renny looking to the inside to turn 4. Thinking about it, he thinks about it, he thought about it a little too late there. Makes contact, and there's more contact there in the background. That's going to be between Ethan Lawrence and Jake Fauscher. I believe there's Jake there, and Ethan, who is missing the front bumper and a retirement, unfortunately. That was hefty contact there down into turn 4, and misjudgment of braking from 2 cars there. One obviously from Benny Martinez. Didn't see who caused the Jake Fauscher Ethan Lawrence incident, and a dive down the inside there from Romero Perez. He sees red. He is smelling blood after his misfortunes in the first race, and that was an opportunistic dive. And that's more the type of the move we like to see in TCRs. Is you can go for the late braking as long as you make it work. Romero made it work that time ahead of Christian Castro, who's trying to fight back. Coming out the carousel, unable to do so. Keishan Hall up again. Well, up next then, as we go down to Canada Corner, Keith Hurst under pressure from Roman Barthez for 3rd and 4th, and Akeem into the lead. Akeem into the lead, so a possible mistake there from Simon Sald. Akeem is into the lead. And that may shake up this race entirely. Back to Roman Barthez then in the Soul Renault. The Renault Megane RS. Get a little bit wiggly. Coming out the final corner to go up the hill. Coming to start lap number 2 here at Road America. In the slipstream again, that Renault also not looking particularly quick compared to the Cupras. We saw that with the Audi as well. Not particularly quick. Roman just using the slipstream to maintain that gap, and possibly might have to shape for a move down into turn number 4, the 90-degree left-hander at the end of the second long straight. See Keishan Hall there's closed up a little bit, and a bit of a mistake there from Keith Hurst, and there goes Roman Barthez through. There goes Keishan Hall through. What about Romero Perez? Can he capitalise? No, he's just a little too far back there, but he will be seeing this three-way fight up ahead, and there's a podium potentially up for grabs. Keishan Hall to the inside into turn 4. Goes deep though. We've seen that a few times already tonight. Goes deep, back down to 5th position. Let's carry on again, shall we? Back to the status quo. Maybe Barthez can use this opportunity to try and pull away. Also looks like Keishan Hall is now fighting with Keith Hurst for 4th place. Slow down penalty for Roman Barthez. You can see there he's slowed down immediately, and down to the inside goes Keith Hurst. Through will follow through Keishan Hall, possibly as the Renault's hung out to dry. No, slots back in, manages to maintain 4th place. Interesting that Roman decided to go for that straight away there. I might have gone for that slightly differently down the back straight, but decided to take the penalty there, but allows him to get back on the back of Keith Hurst straight away. Pulls to the right hand side. Keishan Hall goes to the left hand side. We're going to go through abreast into turn, whichever one this is. I'm not quite sure which corner this is. It's Canada Corner. It has a number. Going to go by Canada Corner. Keith Hurst goes wide through it. Keishan Hall slots ahead of the Renan to the outside. He'll swing. Yes, he does, as does the Renault around the outside of Keith Hurst. Good move there from Roman Barthez. And Keishan Hall now into 3rd. Look at the train. It's forming. Romero's there. Pastacha's there. Castro's there. Martinez is there. It is going to become a 6-way fight for the final step on the podium. Simon Sard and the Keem have bolted away 4 seconds up the road, just half second separating our top 2. We'll get to them in a minute, but this fight is certainly not over. You can see the train is coming down towards us down into turn 1. The slipstream obviously ever powerful, and Martinez looking like he's trying to shape for the move there on Castro, back of this pack. Looking to the inside of the Honda. Looks like he's got the overlap. He's going to try and send it. Thinks about it. Backs out of it. Didn't quite have the overspeed there into turn 2, but a mistake from the Honda. And this should allow them to go side by side. Indeed, they do. Almost touching wheels there. And Renault Martinez just possibly going to try and shuffle the Honda to the inside a little bit further than what he maybe wanted or needed him to go side by side down into turn 4. Lay at the late breakers. That's Keith Hurst pulling off to the left hand side there, and Renault Martinez squeezing him into Keith Hurst. Not quite sure what that was about there. Not quite sure what's happened to Keith Hurst. Another retirement there. So we've had 3 retirements in this race, unfortunately. Unsure what's happened to Keith Hurst. Maybe a hardware issue for him, and that, if so, is very, very unfortunate. Looking for the battle for the final step on the podium. Barthez not giving this up and round the outside of the carousel. No way is he going to be able to pull that one off. He looks like he's still there though. May get squished out through the following right-hander. Indeed he does. He has to tuck behind through the kink, but still has that overspeed. Has the slipstream. Looking to try to get to the right-hand side. That'll be the inside for Canada Corner. Is he there? Is he not? No. Switches back in. Has to solo in suit. Has to go single file now. I was about to say it's a 4-way battle. Make that 3 now as the Cupra, the white Cupra, the 79 there, goes a little bit deep through Canada Corner, just drops off the back. But with the fighting that we're seeing here, won't be long before they get back in the mix, and a good drive off the final corner for the Renault. That compromises them both. Here comes the Honda. Romero Perez then up the hill. Are we going to go 3 wide? Maybe not, but we're certainly 2 wide, and they're going to touch just a little bit. That's actually going to bring Romero Perez into it. Go on, go 3 wide. You know you want to know. He thinks better of it. Smart head there. Doesn't want to lose as cool as he did in the first race. Looks to the outside. Not going to happen through there, matey. You're going to have to hold on for a little bit longer. 3 attempts to lead up the top of the field between first and second. That gap coming down and down. That's because they are in the slipstream. Going past the Sargento cheese truck. The cheese truck. The truck of cheese. I don't know. Ethan talks about it a lot. I think it's a firm favourite. Contact there though between the 2 race leaders. That's going to send the Renault wide. You can see someone backing off the throttle there. He knew he made contact. He knew he unsettled the Audi. Sorry. And so did not capitalise on that little misdemeanor there. Holds back, allows Akeem to maintain first position, and they get themselves back underway. We know someone has the pace here. Both of these now 2-time race winners. Who is going to become the first 3rd-time race winner of the GRG America's World Tour? I forget what we call this series, quite frankly. The America Tour out of our World Tour. There we go, we'll call it that. still, it seems like we have two battles then going on behind. The battle for first and second, the battle for third and fourth, and the battle for fifth and sixth. 2 by 2 by 2. A little bit of Noah's Ark formation we've got at the moment. And you could kind of say that 7th and 8th, they're kind of close. Potential battle is brewing. It is steaming up back there, getting to boiling point. Using all the curb and then a little bit more, using it indeed. Slow down penalty, going all 4 wheels over the white line. That will slow him down a little bit there. Romero Perez makes that send. Was trying to cover off a send there from the 79 Cupra. Cupra looking to the inside. Does it have the straight line speed over the Honda? It might just about. It looks like the 79's going to go for the send anyway. Going to go for the move down the inside. Made his intentions very clear. Romero closes the door a little bit on the Cupra. The Cupra's very much along the inside. Romero not wanting to give that one up though, but the Cupra's still there, looking to the inside at turn 2. Goes for the move. Romero squishes him a bit more, and there is a bit more contact there between the two, and ooh, might have been a bit of a lag spike there. We can see that the Cupra was sort of jittering around a bit there, and maybe that's what caused Romero to have a little bit of apprehension, and maybe that's why he turned in. Maybe he wasn't quite sure where the Cupra actually was. Both of them obviously coming from very vastly different points in the world, so maybe their ping together wasn't quite good for either one of them there. Unfortunate contact between Perez and the other driver. Battle back at the front now for first and second. 5 minutes to go, just under. Someone will have 2 more laps after this to try and find a way through. Roman Barthez still hasn't given up on his pursuit for third place. Keishan Hall still hasn't given up his pursuit of the defence. His defensive campaign of the final step on the podium. We go into Canada corner, possible move here. No, the Renault still stays behind. Isn't fancying that look down the inside as of yet. Up the hill we go once again. Going to start lap number 6. Roman Barthez in the slipstream. Keishan Hall going defensive, all the way to the wall now. Now to send Roman to the outside in that Renault again. Looks like he's got the overspeed this time, but to go around the outside is going to be a tough challenge indeed. Has the Audi gone too deep? Yes, he has gone too deep. And a bit of a tail slide as well for good measure for Roman Barthez. Slips down the inside, takes third place away. Certainly not over yet though. These two drivers very closely matched, as we, very similar to our first and second drivers at the moment. Very similarly matched, and slipstream once again, this time in the Audi's favour, coming on the back of the Renault to move our way down to turn number 4. He's going to look to the inside. There's a tiny gap there. 2 wheels on the grass here. Can he get it stopped this time? No, he cannot. Keishan, you've done this multiple times. There is a corner that you do need to slow down for at some point. Unable to do so. Once again, would he get ahead of the Cupra? Just about. It looks like Barthez is going to have third place nice and safe. And whilst Keishan Hall gets the grass and the dirt and all the muck off his tyres, he's going to be losing time in that 79 Cupra. Looking ever present now in his mirrors. Maybe looking to a move to the inside. Thought about it. Backs out of it this time. So it looks like our third place is settled. And it's Somersault ahead of Akeem. So that's also changed. Change for the lead. Akeem not giving up though. Firmly in the slipstream. Will there be a move into Canada corner? Looks to the inside. There's a bit of a squeeze from Salman. And to the inside they go. A bit of contact there, but Akeem was there on the inside. Retakes the lead. As we come on to the final lap of the race. And the gap is as large as it's ever been, almost a second. With how close these two have been on overall pace, can't imagine that Salmansold's actually going to be able to close that down in time to have an overtaking opportunity into Canada corner. Further back down the field though, side by side, it's Jake Falsher and the slightly damaged Hyundai against Christian Castro and possibly also a slightly damaged Honda. They're going to go side by side almost into the final corner. Defensive move from the Hyundai. Will the Honda move back into the slipstream? Yes, it does. So they move their way up the hill onto the final lap for themselves. I think Victor Paz has just got himself past Rene Martinez there. And someone else dropping down. I think that's Jake Falsher dropping down the order, unfortunately for him. Christian Castro unable to make that move work down into turn 1. Someone's gained a couple of attempts. We're now sub 5 cents, or never mind. But he's gained 2 or 3 attempts in the first sector. If he can do that again, he'll be in with a shower into Canada corner. He needs to be within 3 tenths of a second. We did see an audacious move from Akeem about 15 minutes ago into the final corner, into Canada corner, the final overtaking zone, the final major overtaking zone on the final lap. We did see a bit of an outlandish move. Will we see the same again for Salmansold? 5 tenths away. I think he's going to be a little too far back to try and make a move into Canada corner. He'll give it his all. The gap is coming down. He'll have the slipstream, he has the better run, but he's going to be too far back. Can he shape something maybe into the final corner? He's going to look for it like Akeem did, tried it, unable to make it work this time as well. History repeats itself. And a flash of the lights for Salmansold. Don't know if he's angry or not, probably angry. Who knows? You can never tell the emotions when you can't see the driver's face. But coming up the hill to win race 2, become our third race winner, well, our first 3-time race winner, I should say, of the championship so far. A man, Akeem, to win race 2 here at Road America. Salmansold to come across the line in second. It'll be Barthez, followed by Keishan Hall in 4th, Victor Paz, and then Rene Martinez 6th. A better race for Romero Perez there, also without the penalties and jump starts. He'll be happy with that in 7th, and dragging to the line, Jake Falsher down to 10th, and he's going to drag himself to the line. Looks to the right hand side, unable to do it. I don't think he's going to have the legs to do it. It's a side-by-side finish, and no, 10th place for Jake Falsher. Very, very close though between himself and Christian Castro, who obviously got himself through at some point during that final lap. I'm sure Jake will be a little bit disappointed with that one indeed. He's just going to go straight onto the wall, isn't he? And that is how you tell the emotions of a driver. So we wait for our final drivers to cross the line. 12 finishes there. Unfortunately, we had 3 retirements in that race, and it will be Akeem there to take his 3rd win of the season ahead of Salmansold, our championship leader. So those points will be shared between 1st and 2nd, as we have a reversal of the first race with Akeem taking the race win, and the fastest lap going to Salmansold this time around. Barthez in 3rd, Keishan Hall in 4th, and Victor Paz, your top 5. And as such, we'll conclude our running for today. And we'll talk about the next upcoming races then. Rounds or circuits 5, 6, 7 and 8. We'll just move ourselves onto the intermission page. I have it somewhere. There it is. Cool, so that was just Road America. Next week, we're off to Sonoma, followed by Laguna Seca, Indianapolis, and then the new Interlagos circuit, which was announced maybe a couple of months ago now, actually, but new to us. It'll be the first time we would have raced on Interlagos, the Brazilian circuit, but do be sure to check out the possible future streams. This may have been a one-off, not too sure yet, but hopefully there'll be more in the future. And get yourselves involved in the action. Just type into your browser invite.gg/GRG GRG Esports. It'll take you straight to the Discord page where you can find signups on Sim Racing GP, for RaceRoom, ACC, iRacing, and a whole other manner of random bits and pieces we do here and there. And of course, join us for other community events, race watch-alongs. Of course, we'll come to the end of the racing season, but still 2 Formula 1 races left to go, so join us for some watch-alongs for that. And any other motorsports that's going on. And just for general games. You want other games to play? Well, we just chill most days, so do just come in, say hi, show your face, and we'll either see you in a voice chat or we'll see you on track. But until then, thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye all.